Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of My Bucket List Day. Today's a big day. We are going to get new tires on Natasha here. Sadly, her tires are not holding up well. These are the original tires that came with the truck, and from day one, after I had just a few miles on it, there's been some vibrating in the front end, and also some thumping in the back end. Well, it turns out the tires are cupping. Don't know why. Had them aligned and balanced a couple different times. They're just not wearing well. So I've got about 43,000 miles on them, and they're pretty much shot. So I'll show you a little video of the tires here in a bit. But before we get into all of that, let's watch this intro and we'll be right back. Okay, as I mentioned, we are getting new tires on Natasha. So what I did is I reached out to Continental, which are the brand tires that are on here, and after sending them a bunch of video and pictures of the tires, they agreed that yeah, they shouldn't be wearing like that. I've also been to several tire places and they've inspected the tires, and they all concurred that there's something wrong with this set of tires for them to be doing all of that. So again, Continental was kind enough to say, yep, we're going to replace the tires at a prorated amount. I will tell you, they're going to basically charge me for the miles I did get out of the truck, or out of these tires, and give me a credit for that amount and apply that towards a new set of tires. So I guess that's pretty fair. I did drive on them. While they clearly need to be replaced right now, I did drive on them. So come along for the ride as we put new tires on Natasha here. New sneakers, as they say. Okay, so here we are at the first place that Continental suggested I go to. Is a Ford dealership here. Another one is a regular tire shop, but I got the price from the other tire shop on what everything is going to cost, but we don't know what the credit's going to be yet. And the Ford dealership, I called yesterday and they couldn't tell me the price of the tires yet. They had to look it up, and they had to go to the parts department to do that, and their line was busy. So I'm swinging by here to see if I can get a price on what it's going to be so I can compare the two places. So one of these two places is going to get our business. We just don't know which one yet. So I haven't asked for permission to record, so I'm not going to take the camera in there. I'm going to go talk to them, and then if they give me permission to record, we'll try to record the entire process. So let's go in. All right, everybody, I'm at the Ford dealership here, and just sat down with the service guy, and he wrote everything up to do the estimate on my tires, and we'll kind of give you a little view what's going on. But the back tires and the front tires are pretty much shot. Take a look at this. That gives you an example of what kind of wear I'm getting. So as you see, they're kind of foobarred. They're all messed up. So, and here, even on the back tires, they're cupped, but they're tearing apart. So severe cupping, and they're just falling apart. Everybody says these are awesome tires, but I clearly got a bad badge. So we're going to get that estimate back, and then we'll find out what Continental is going to be paying to replace these tires. Now this is going to get into a bay, so a technician can measure the depth of the tires and inspect them and all that kind of stuff. So that's all there is to it. Okay, so they're basically going to go around the tires and put a depth gauge in there and check the various measurements, which obviously there's nothing left on the front tires. So they got to get the DOT number off the tires. So just checking the depth of the thread. Yeah, get the high points.
Yeah.
That'll give me the biggest credit. More wear.
So 5 more tread depth. The lower the number, the less depth.
Okay.
So lower it is, the less life. I don't know why they're like this.
Okay, so they finished measuring the tires, and they all basically came out to a 4. So there's some excessive wear on there. Now we're going to submit that report into Continental and see what they come back with. So an update from Continental. They did give me a credit, and for all 6 tires they only gave me $306. Even though they admit that they're not right, falling apart way too fast and wearing way too fast. That's all they did. So clearly I'm not going to go back with Continental tires. So I decided right now I'm going to keep the drive tires, the 4 tires on the back of the dualies, and just replace the steer tires. And I did not replace them with Continental. I decided to go with another brand. I went with Cooper. It wasn't based off price, but I heard a lot of great things about the Cooper, what they call the Work Series tire, for the steer tires on these trucks. Right into this. So the tires, and I'm going to show some video up here as I'm talking. The tires basically are shredding apart on this truck. These are the original Continental tires that came with the truck, and they're the hybrid. They're supposed to be a high quality tire, but they just weren't wearing well. As you can see here, I've got tremendous cupping in these front tires, a little cupping on the rears, but really bad on the front, and they're tearing themselves apart. They're just shredding and falling apart. And obviously that is not safe, and it is not something I was comfortable driving the truck with. These are $530 tires, and they looked at all 6 tires, and the only credit they were going to give me is $300. Yes, that's ridiculous. $300 for a set of tires that are deteriorating, and they all admit they're deteriorating. Something's not right, but that's all they're going to do because that's how their warranty system works. So needless to say, I'm not going to replace all 6 tires. I'm going to continue to drive the 2 rear drive tires, or the dually drive tires, and just replace the front tires. That's where the worst wear is. So what I decided to do is I went online as well as called a few tire places to get tires. And the Cooper Work Series seems to be a popular tire for not only my truck, but many other commercial vehicles out on the road. They seem to really wear well for drive tires. So that's the brand I went with. Sadly, all the tire places, they're very expensive. They were $396 a piece. So that was a little pricey because I found them online for $230, so quite a bit less. So I was able to get 2 tires for right around $450. Then I paid $100 to have them balanced and installed. That seemed a little high, $50 a wheel, but I guess that's not so bad for a big wheel. These are 19.5-inch wheels, so not everyone can do these tires. You have to go to either a truck stop or a truck shop or a tire place that has the capability of doing a wheel this size. So let's dive into getting the tires replaced, and then stay to the end because we're going to do a very cool upgrade to Natasha once all the tires are mounted. So let's dive into the tires, and then we'll finish up with a really cool upgrade. I do want to take this moment to show how big the rotors are on these big F450s. They're beasts. Okay, so now the tires are on, and I can tell you after driving about 30 miles, what a difference. The tires are quiet, the ride is smooth, no shimmering or shaking in the steering wheel. Everything's better, so I'm very happy with that. However, I got a surprise here. We're going to do a little upgrade to Natasha to help with the ride. So multiple tire people that I spoke to, the experts, they said it's possible these tires shredded themselves not only because they are probably a defective set of tires, but when I have the fifth wheel hitched up to the truck, even though this is an F450, it should handle the weight fine, it does sag the rear springs about an inch. Not much, just about an inch. Well, the truck does sit a little high anyway, so I figured that would be fine. However, they suggested that if you're hitting bridges or other bumps and stuff like that, the pin weight of the hitch could be lifting the truck up a little bit on the front, make it a little light, and that could be contributing to the wear on the tires. So I decided, let's solve that problem while we put the new tires on here, and let's go ahead and put a lift kit on here. So I decided to go with Airlift 5000, and we're going to throw that on this truck, and that should take care of managing that lift and that 1-inch little drop that we get when we load the trailer on there. So let's dive into that. It's a pretty simple install. Don't be afraid of it. It's a pretty easy thing to do. So let's get going and get these airbags on Natasha. So here we have everything spread out on the tailgate. All the brackets, the hardware. These will be up on the top. These will be on the bottom, and these are going each one of the bags right there. So like I said, this is not a very hard install. We're going to assemble the bags right here. Oh, and here's the air kit, airlines and everything else that we will need. They do make a wireless inflation kit, so basically you can use your mobile device to increase or decrease the air in the bags. However, I didn't buy that. That's they want like $450. It comes with a compressor. I thought that was ridiculously priced. I already have a compressor that I'm going to be using, and we'll just put the Schrader valves here in the back of the truck, and we'll install them somewhere where it's convenient and just put the air in manually. If I decide to add something, I might just build a wireless Bluetooth module onto a air solenoid and connect it to my phone myself. I'm not paying $450 for their little gimmick. Okay, as we're assembling, there's something I got to point out. This is going to go on here like that, but you need to pay attention to, there's 4 holes here, and when you're putting the carriage bolts in, you want to make sure that if you have a sway bar, you're using on the driver's side these 2 holes, and on the passenger side, this will be reversed, you want to use the outer 2 holes if you have a sway bar. If you do not have the rear sway bar, they say put them in the 2 holes furthest away from these flanges. So make note of that, whether you have a sway bar or not. So on the driver's side, we're going to use these 2 holes, and on the passenger side, we're going to use these 2 holes. That basically aligns everything so it misses the sway bar mounts underneath the axle. Okay, I got the factory bump stops out of the way, and as you see, if I can get my arm in here, these are the new brackets, 1 on each side. Sorry for the shaking around, I'm getting hit by all sorts of things, but 1 on each side. And then here's the assembly here. And now I'm going to install that. Don't know if I can get a good camera angle, but I'm going to try. so you guys can see this. There we go. Okay, that was tough to get into place, but it's in. It probably would have been easier if I could jack up the truck and have more room in between here, but it's in. Now we'll do the next one. As you can see, the airbag is in on the driver's side and completed on the passenger side. I will have to admit, the one here on the driver's side was a booger to get in there. If you can lift the truck and get a couple inches off those springs, it'd probably be a little easier. I apologize, I didn't video that going in there. My hands were a little full at the time and I was getting honestly a little frustrated. I ended up having to use ratchet straps to compress the entire bag because I just couldn't get leverage on there to get it squeezed in. But once that got compressed, I was able to slide it in there. It took a little persuasion, but it's in there. It's all bolted in. Everything's secure. There's no air in it. I haven't connected the air lines yet. I'm about to do that now. So I think I'm gonna run the airbags or the air lines along the frame here and then go up right here. Actually, go up right here because this is the cable for all the power and everything to plug the trailers in. So I'm just going to run the air lines up there and have the Schrader valves come out of the side right by the power plugs and stuff. It's a nice, safe, secure location. Okay, so there's where I mounted the Schrader valves right here, just above the power box and underneath the light of the cab. So it should be a good place to easily access, and it's also out of the weather and out of little pranksters' eyes if they want to deflate the air while I'm parked or something like that. So it's protected. So let's fill them up, see if they have any leaks. All right, everybody. So bottom line is this: the airbags are working great. I've done a couple trips with them already. They are set at around 65 pounds per side, and it seems to be riding a little smoother than I was experiencing before. So hopefully that will continue to improve the wear on the tires. Don't know if that was the culprit, but it was suggested, so it couldn't hurt. So that's why I did that. But talking about the tires, going to backtrack a little bit. So bottom line is, I got screwed by Continental, and they have a bad product out there, and they said they'd stand behind it, but the credit they gave, $306 for a $530 tire, and that was $306 credit for 6 tires. That's just ridiculous. So Continental, you need to improve your warranty system. You knew it was defective, you admit it was defective. Everybody who saw the tires said there was something wrong with them. They just were falling apart and deteriorating with the low mileage that was on them. So again, put the new Cooper tires on the front, the Work Series, and let's cross our fingers that those wear a lot better than the other tires, the Continentals, that were on there. So if any of you have had problems like this, I'd like to hear about it. Leave the comments below of any types of issues you've had with your tires, the cupping and the just deteriorating or destroying themselves. And I'd like to hear from you of who all put airbags on their truck to help with the load. If you have a 450, obviously if a smaller truck, of course you probably did put airbags on it. But the 450 should be enough to carry the tongue weight or the pin weight of this rig. But who knows? Maybe the airbags are needed for when you're bouncing that little bit. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to hit the little like, subscribe, and ring that little bell to remind you that I'm putting out another video. And have a great bucket list day. See you later.